why should an SEO move, or what should an SEO be thinking about as they move, from one company to another? What goes through the mind of a smart SEO?
Well, now that you said smart SEO, I'm going to feel like I'm patting myself on the back, because I was going to use myself as an example. But I think make a list. I mean, you kind of touched on what's important, right? Make a list of what's important to you. Money is going to be a piece of that. But even when I have made decisions about companies in the past, I don't always choose the one that offers me the highest salary necessarily. And I have this conversation in your first screening call too with the recruiter. And when they ask you, what are you looking for in a role? Give them hey, I'm looking for these 3 pillars. And mine were essentially, I want this specific salary. I want a manager that allows me creative freedom. And I want to be working for a company. I forget how I described it. It was more eloquent than this, but that has a generally good vibe and a good company culture and is a good place to work and, encourages people to have lives outside of that. So whatever your list is, take that into consideration. And then this is going to sound less discriminating or less discerning. Apply to a ton of places, because you might find things that really excite you through those recruiting conversations and interviews that you wouldn't have just thought of on your own. And also all of that's just practice, right? Interview as much as possible so that when that company that is really exciting comes along, you're comfortable, you're relaxed, all of that good stuff. But yeah, I think just prioritize it, and as much as possible, don't compromise if you can, and know what you can compromise. Is it worth taking a pay cut from your ideal salary just to see, or is it worth, I don't know, negotiating more or less time off or whatever it might be that they could be flexible on to make sure that you end up in a place that's going to make you happy. Because for me, that was my actual criteria, is I want to be at a company that makes me happy, because I've had such a mixed bag of experiences in the past. So yeah, and try everything out. It doesn't hurt anything to at least talk to people and just see what's the most exciting thing. In my most recent job search, I didn't think I was going to talk to many agencies. And then I had some really, really good conversations with boutique agencies that were exciting and really refreshing to me. And that was surprising. And that was kind of a really interesting and fun experience because of it. So, be open, but know what you want and know where you're willing to compromise, and then don't compromise on the other things.
I mean, I didn't go through a typical job search, because I actually just started working for one of my clients full time, which is it's a wonderful situation. And I couldn't be happier with the way it's turned out. But for me, the biggest thing was the opportunity gave me was going to build additional skills for me, additional opportunity to grow as a marketer, as somewhat as an SEO, but mostly, as a marketer, as it's e-commerce. So I've been really fascinated with e-commerce lately. My role has a user experience component to it. So I'm getting to learn how to do user experience testing and that sort of thing. So that for me was the biggest thing. Could it advance my skills? Could it give me an opportunity to grow and give me a challenge that would let me continue to go forward and not stagnate where I was?
I think maybe Eli can speak to this too, but there's an element of if you're not in-house or agency side, if you're freelance or you own your own business, taking those same criteria into the clients that you accept and choose. I remember talking to someone who was just starting their own business, and they were saying, "Oh, I just have to accept everything that comes my way." And I like to tell them and other people who say stuff like that is that you will manifest more of that which you accept into your life. So if you're accepting crap clients who are shitty to you and treat you poorly, they're just going to refer more people who are like them. So if you want to work in a specific industry, or you're freelance and you want to work in a specific niche, accept only clients that fit that criteria, or that are, not those red flag clients who will call you at midnight and say, "I need this tomorrow by 7 a.m." And they will start to refer similar people to you. So that's when I started my own business. I was really interested in helping women-owned businesses and small local businesses. But I found my clientele was actually split half between those businesses and the tech companies, because I had worked in tech. And so when everyone went and started their new job at XYZ startup SaaS company, they were like, oh, Carolyn worked at CallRail. Carolyn knows how to do tech SEO. She knows the subscription model. She knows what churn is, and she knows why, it's important to us for SEO. So when you are a contractor too, or a freelancer, or you have your own SEO business, you don't have to accept every single client that comes your way. Just like you would be discerning in a job search, you can be the same with the clients that you accept for your business too. And the same goes for the money that you accept from them. Like, you don't have to accept a client just because they're willing to pay you money. Like, set your rates, probably need to set them higher than you think you do, and go for the clients who are looking for people to do quality work at that rate, so that you can be happy in your work as a freelancer or a small business owner as well.
And trust your gut.
Absolutely.
If it seems like it's not going to be a good fit, don't do it.
Absolutely.
And now it's like one of the best times ever to get a job in SEO. There's so many companies that are realizing how valuable this is. And if you don't like a job and it doesn't feel right to you, there's so many more behind it. And we didn't talk about it all, but all this talk of recession. So I remember in 2008 when there was a recession, that's when SEO really kicked off, right? Like, this is not it's not free. They're always like, it's free traffic versus paid traffic. It's not free, but the investment level to build SEO is so much better than it is to build paid. So the same way, like at the beginning of COVID, I think most of us were consulting at the beginning of COVID, and everyone was like scared shitless of what was going to happen. What ended up happening is everyone loved SEO. So if there's a recession, hopefully the same thing happens, that this becomes this like easier channel to chase, and you'll hire consultants, you'll hire agencies, but you're not going to spend a ton of money on paid advertising. That's where you're going to reduce budgets. So if you're looking for a job, there will be lots of jobs. Maybe, find one, right? The music's going to stop, musical chairs, like sit somewhere, figure out where you're going to be. But I don't think a recession is necessarily that scary for our industry. It should be scary for, the companies out there, because they might suffer, but the ones that are going to thrive in a lower paced economy are definitely going to need SEO.